Hello and welcome to my channel. I am Zodiac Bandit, and today I want to be talking about something a little bit more serious. And that is, something that I feel like all of us are mildly guilty of to a certain degree. Okay, I'm not throwing anybody under the bus here, but I do kind of want to talk about this because it is important to remember moving forward, I think. And that is, unfortunately, Critical Role has been put in a what's known as a no-win situation. They cannot win no matter what they do. Someone somewhere is going to be upset with them for various reasons. And part of that is expectations from fans. But I don't want to put any blame on, us or them or anything like that. It's just the nature of how things go. So I kind of want to talk about that today because I do think it is important to talk about, to have this discussion out in the open so that we all understand sort of the situation that Critical Role is in. So what do I mean when I say that Critical Role can't win? Well, to put it bluntly, no matter what they do, they're going to upset someone. And I have a couple of examples here that I think I can use to prove my point for this. First of all, let's talk about the tabletop RPG system they use for their next campaign. No matter what, whether they pick Dungeons and Dragons, no matter what if they pick Daggerheart, no matter what if they pick Pathfinder, they can't win, and someone somewhere is going to be upset. If they continue to play Dungeons and Dragons, it's going to upset all of the people who want to shit and hate and boycott Wizards of the Coast, Hasbro, Dungeons and Dragons, the like. No matter what they do, right? If this happens, there's going to be a batch of people who get upset by this, and they won't watch Critical Role. They will boycott Critical Role just as long as they boycott for Wizards of the Coast, Hasbro, Dungeons and Dragons. They will include Critical Role in that boycott. If they go over to Daggerheart, people will be upset because they're not playing Dungeons and Dragons. Because there's a large portion of people who don't care about the boycott for Wizards of the Coast or Dungeons and Dragons. People just don't care. They want to play and watch people play their favorite tabletop RPG. They want to see people play as the classes they make. They want to continue to build a world in Dungeons and Dragons so they can have the books on their shelves and that match the rest of their Exandria books on the shelves. They want to continue to watch Dungeons and Dragons, right? The tagline of Critical Role for ages is voice actors playing Dungeons and Dragons. So a lot of people will be upset if they go away from Dungeons and Dragons. The same thing for Pathfinder. Right? If they decide to play Pathfinder, I feel like even more people would be upset that they're not playing Daggerheart and that they're not playing Dungeons and Dragons. There is no winning in that scenario whatsoever. And this will unfortunately lead to lower views, right? There is going to be a group of people somewhere who aren't going to watch Critical Role because of whatever reason for the system, and it's going to lead to lower views. I feel like the worst one they could pick would be Pathfinder. That'll lead to the lowest amount of views. And probably the best scenario they could be in would probably be to stick with Dungeons and Dragons. But no matter what's going to happen, views are going to fall, right? Just like how every other campaign, views go down as time go on. But because of this boycott, because of everything that's happening with people not being big fans of, the 2024 rules, or if you want to call it the Dungeons and Dragons 1 or 1 D&D or whatever the hell they're calling it. If you don't like that at all, people are going to be upset about that. So views are going to go down. People aren't going to watch it no matter which way they go. And they're going to get the same amount of bullcrap they got about Campaign 3 not being good. They're going to hear about Campaign 4. They are just not capable of winning because of this situation. Like I said, there's a ton of things that people will be upset about or will be happy about or whatever, and you can't win no matter what side they're on, is the world of Exandria. A lot of people have said that they would love to stay in the world of Exandria to continue watching stories of this world that they've crafted over 10 years. Characters, locations, items, mysteries, all that stuff that is in the world of Exandria. People love it. And people want to stay in it and keep watching Critical Role play the world because they're the best at playing in that world. But then there's the flip side of that coin, where they would like to see a different type of world, one that isn't the same, like a grimdark. I know a lot of people really wanted some sort of grimdark world. We are getting that in Umbra, but if it's only going to be for the miniseries, some people might not feel like that was enough. So they're going to be like, well, we want a different world, not Exandria. I've seen a lot of people suggest them not go back to Exandria, which I personally feel is very weird. But if a large portion of people want to see something different, they're not going to be excited to see Exandria back again. So yet again, we've fallen into this unfortunate location of there's going to be people on either side of the road who don't want to see the thing they're getting. Even a video I made last week where I talked about the idea of maybe Critical Role doing shorter campaigns, year-long campaigns, maybe even less, like 20 episodes, maybe a little bit more, like 50 episodes, but not the 3-year campaigns that they've had all this time, because not everyone wants to wait 3 years for a different cast of characters in case they don't like the current cast of characters. So weirdly, we're in this position of people who want to see shorter ones because that would mean new characters sooner, also would mean more grounded, smaller scale stories, versus people who want to see the world-ending stuff and sticking with a group of characters for years and years like what they have done for the last 3 campaigns. You're in this weird spot where you can't really make everyone happy. You just have to pick one side and then hope the other side just accepts it, or you alienate them altogether. Again, they cannot win in that scenario. And on this channel, when we have an issue like this pop up where I talk about, various issues depending on what it is, I try to present some sort of solution that could happen, right? Pros and cons to this versus this. That was what my last video was, or on my last Tuesday video was. And that's what I like to do. I like to present some sort of solution or reasons why this is good, why this is bad. There is no good and bad with this. To be in a lose-lose position, there is just no win scenario. Nothing good comes from having to pick one side. The only thing I can really say about it is that's unfortunately how YouTube kind of works, because eventually people get old or people get bored of seeing the stuff that you're presenting. So they want to switch to something else, and those people will leave. And then when you switch to something else, those people who wanted to see the same thing you were doing still get angry and they leave. And then you have a new batch of people show up and watch. So that's the sort of issue they're in right now. They kind of have to just pick what side they want to, lift up and continue on with, and which side they're going to unfortunately have to drop and just leave behind, which is upsetting, because if you're not in that side that gets lifted up and brought with them, you're going to get alienated, you're going to get mad, and you're going to leave, and you're going to hate, which is the worst part about all of it. So I guess the point of this video is, what do you guys think they could do to potentially remedy this? Because I don't think there's a solution. But I do want to have this discussion, because that is what this channel is all about. I want to have that discussion, that talk, and to really think through it and see what maybe something could happen. Do they need to change something? Do we as fans need to change something? Does someone somewhere need to change anything? Or do we just have to accept whatever they make next? I'm curious to know what you guys think, because I have no true idea as to what they could do to win. I do think there is a silver lining to this sort of thing, though, because there are going to be people who, no matter what Critical Role put out, they're going to watch. There's going to be people who sit down every Thursday and watch whatever Critical Role make. As much as I would like to say that I'm in that bracket of people, I'm not watching Thresher, which my reasoning for not watching Thresher is because there's none of the cast. For me, that's a big deal. And I think for a lot of people, that's also a big deal. So I feel like as long as they have the cast, I'm good. So if you give me and most people the cast of Critical Role, or at least some of the cast of Critical Role, you're going to find success in those people. And those are the people I think they should be targeting. They shouldn't be targeting, we want to see this. We shouldn't be targeting, we want to see that. They should be targeting the people who say, we want to see you. Maybe that's the solution. I don't know. But I think there is something to that idea. There's something to targeting the people who don't care what they see. They just want to see it. They just want to see them. They just want to see Critical Role. So let me know what you guys think. And I will see you guys on Friday for whatever video I make next. Peace.